The tank that broke through fortifications in the Manchuria and China campaigns is today's Flames of War Spotlight video. The Type 89 Chi-Ro medium tank. The Imperial Japanese Army's Type 89 was designed in 1928. It entered production in 1931 and saw combat service from 1932 to 1942 during World War II. The tank is heavily inspired by the Vickers Medium C tank. The Japanese Army had purchased some of these Vickers tanks in the hopes of reverse engineering them into something that was distinctly Japanese. The tank itself would require a crew of 4 people to operate: a commander, who also doubled as the turret gunner, a loader, a driver, and a hull gunner. The Type 90 57mm gun on the turret was perfect for softening up pillboxes and fortifications, while the hull-mounted and turret-mounted machine guns dealt with infantry-based threats. Towards the end of the war, the Type 89 would see itself perform very poorly against the more modern M4 Sherman tanks. However, it is of my opinion that when the tank was designed in 1928, it was a very progressive tank design, very different and very unique. Flash forward to 1942, not so much anymore. In Flames of War 3rd Edition, the Chi-Ro tank can be found in the Bonsai expansion book. This book features the Imperial Japanese Army with both late war point values and Pacific War themed point values. In the game, the Chi-Ro is armed with its Type 90 57mm gun and 2 machine guns. The Chi-Ro, like all other Japanese tanks in Flames of War, features a few special rules. The first rule is the Japanese machine gun turret, which allows you to fire the turret-mounted machine gun in a 360-degree arc. However, if you do so, you cannot fire the Type 90 57mm main gun this turn. It's an either or. Next is hip shot, and basically, to summarize that special rule, is if the tank moved during the move step, they can re-roll any misses with the Type 90 57mm gun, provided they are targeting the easiest target within 16 inches. So as long as you're targeting the closest enemy to you within 16 inches, you get to re-roll your misses. And finally, we have duty to the end, which is my favorite rule for the Japanese tankers. And to summarize, this rule is basically bogged out and bailed out tanks are not ignored in platoon morale checks, and they still count as a fighting unit. They can also fire either machine guns and fight in assaults, but they cannot break off or counterattack. And they can also skip a bog check if they're counterattacking in rough terrain. These tankers are tough bastards. In addition, if you assault a bogged down or bailed out Japanese tank, you still have to take the Tank Terror test. The Type 89 has a movement classification of slow tank and can only move 16 inches. The front armor, side armor, and top armor values are all a paper-thin 1. The Type 90 57mm gun has a rate of fire of 2, an anti-tank value of 5, and a firepower value of 4+. The vehicle-based machine guns are rate of fire 3, anti-tank 2, and firepower 6. While it can and most likely will be shredded by more modern armor like the M4, the T-34, the Panzer IV, a stiff breeze, the Chi-Ro is a fun addition to your Flames of War Imperial Japanese force. You know, once they bring them back into version 4.